3.
Alright, so we should be live. Hello, my name is MetalGlennSolid. We're going to be doing the original Metal Gear Solid on Extreme this afternoon, or evening, depending where you're at. And we're going to play on Extreme. This is going to be any percent PC, which is a little more broken than what you may have seen earlier in the easy run. So we're just going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
GL.
And the first thing you'll notice right off the bat is we can skip through codecs by just hitting start, or we can hold escape on the keyboard if we wish. Throughout the run you'll hear me switch between controller and keyboard, and it'll be very audible since keyboard is mechanical here. We're going to walk past this guy, and we're going to make a break for the corner here. This is a great time for any intros for, say, our commentary here, or donations if there are any. I have Discord open. I didn't open the Twitch chat.
Yeah, there's just like a couple of minutes of unavoidable downtime here since you need to wait for the elevator to come down. One of the only parts of the game we can't skip. Damn it.
Alright. Let's see. And you'll notice the PC port is a bit of a reshade. Everything here looks super smooth. You can find this on Reddit if you want to get into it. And I believe Plywood has a very nice tutorial available.
Like, the initial setup and configuration for this port can be quite finicky, but once you get going with it, it's, yeah, pretty good version to play.
Definitely one of the easier runs to get into. Alright. This is the guy I gotta keep an eye on. I gotta wait for him to turn. He's gonna come back up here. Alright. And he's gonna come down. We're gonna wait for the elevator to get past his bar here. Knock real quick. Oof! I got cucked.
Oh dear.
That'll happen from time to time. Well.
Rough. Yeah, the guard vision, obviously, on Extreme is a lot more difficult to manage with.
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen to me. So I might just take the safer approach here. Just kill him.
I was about to say, yeah, this section does give you ample opportunities to just take care of the guards if you so desire, though. Right. And since this is like such an early entry into the series, the guards don't respawn.
Nope.
Well, during an alert, I believe they might, but if you just kill sentries that are going on their regular routes, it doesn't trigger any like extra backup or anything like that.
I cannot recall the last time I've had to reset this room, so pardon the mistakes.
It was about 30 seconds ago.
I'm just gonna watch him. Why didn't he see me? But it will forever remain a mystery.
Yeah, guard vision can be funky sometimes.
This guy's is worse. I swear he's got eyes in the back of his head sometimes.
And these are meant to be like genetically engineered super soldiers as well.
So it makes sense then.
But apparently they need to go to the opticians.
Oh
Why
well.
don't you just go and get the rations for safety?
We won't need him.
Marathon strat.
If I die in the heliport, I will be rather upset with my start here, but that's okay.
May I read a donation?
Go for it.
We have $100 from Forensic.
Woo!
Put it all on Otacon, I think. See your light. Thank you so much. Bottom of my heart. Forensic will be restreaming later on tonight to save me Thank you so much for saving me.
It's almost like when I first started playing this game and the helipad was impossible to reach.
Alright, so this is where actual gameplay starts, and yeah, we start off with getting an immediate alert to pick up chaffs. A very useful tool across this run for multiple reasons. One of which is the fact that they do give you a slightly increased movement speed, so pretty much all opportunities across the run you want to have the chaffs equipped when you're just running around, as it does actually make you go a little bit faster. But it can also be used for some very funky glitches later on.
Mostly one in particular.
You'll notice as well that Glenn immediately equipped the chaffs without needing any sort of weapon menuing. This is one of the things that's exclusive to the PC version, in that you can use keyboard shortcuts to just macro to certain weapons, and this is also used for some PC exclusive glitches later on.
I'm just gonna follow these mice.
Follow the mice.
They can't hurt us, it's fine. Throw the chaff up in this corner. That should be good.
There's just one guard that you want to...
He's a pain too. Alright, we're good. It wasn't until recently I was getting that strat consistently. For some reason that other guard would just be a pain.
Yeah, so rather than dealing with the story of the game and the regular events of the game, MGS1 has a lot of extensive out-of-bounds stuff you can do, such as Vent Glitch right here, where you get in a specific spot, look up while you're uncrouching, and you just clip straight out of bounds like that. And we can just use this to go straight to the torture room, and the game handles this in really weird ways, including like setting specific flags just from entering into particular areas. So even though none of the game content has been completed thus far, like any of the story events or any of the bosses, the game still treats you as supposed to be in here. So the game will actually proceed normally, like all the events will play normally, Otacon will come along in a little bit, and we can progress as normal.
Skips about roughly 1/3 of the game. So you've skipped all the way past Wolf 1. And I'm going to turn here just so I have a visual cue of where Johnny is. That way, as soon as he notices that I'm missing, I can just poke my head out and be like, hey, here I am. It's going to save us about 40 seconds. If you don't do this, he falls asleep, and that's no fun.
It's one of the weirder time saves, yeah. So, on the back of that donation that we just got, is this actually going to be an Otacon run?
There was no donation incentive for my run, particularly just the races, so yes. What I'm doing is I'm just gonna knock at the positions where he's supposed to possibly sneeze. This will save about half a second. Time save is time save, and we need every bit we can get at this point.
So, like, relative to how much of the game gets skipped due to how broken this category is, there is a surprising amount of downtime in this run. Like, we were just in the cargo docks, now we're in the torture chamber. Later on, there's going to be a lot of running back and forth to freeze and heat the PAL card. There is quite a bit of downtime in the run, but you do a lot of extensive glitching as well.
We got the cool camera angle.
Had enough.
And Snake's a little bit tired now, so he's going to have a rest.
The torture will stop as I promised.
Just a bit of a sleep.
But I'll take the woman in return. I'll have my fun with her before I kill her. Meryl. I hope you can still look at yourself in the mirror, my friend.
Ocelot considers us friends, but we just met him. What a guy.
Yeah, who is this guy who's even got us on this metal bed?
I don't know yet. I haven't played that early in the game.
She took my clothes. Shut up in there, will ya?
May I point your attention to the carcass in the upper right corner? on his body, you'll notice some dancing disco rice.
Indeed. Live disco rice.
Indeed. That man must have a special ability to attract them. I couldn't do that in the docks. And we're gonna sit by the door and we're gonna wait for some other stranger to come to our rescue. We got some nice people on Shadow Moses tonight. I don't know who these people are.
So thankfully, the fact that Otacon comes along and gives you the items that you're supposed to have, that includes having the level 5 card at this point, or is it the level 6?
6.
Card that he gives you? Level 6 card, yeah. So gives you access to all the areas that you would need to be at this point, and because of the story point that we're at in the game, once you progress to the boss areas that have quote-unquote been cleared already, the game recognizes that you're already beyond that point, and it will just like give you the boss upgrades for free, which importantly includes flags such as increasing your inventory space. If you don't have certain boss flags set, then certain weapons will just be stuck at having 0 ammo capacity, so you do need a specific number of flags to be able to finish the game. But thankfully it all falls into place with the route that's used.
Mm-hmm. And Johnny's gonna check out our ketchup. And we've killed him. Series is invalid. Poor Johnny. We're gonna grab our equipment and be on our way. Do we get good elevator RNG? No. There's really 4 different elevator results, 2 of which are any good. Both of which you would be able to just run on the elevator, not to worry, but we're gonna do something cool here. Flip this guy, unequip the chaff, re-equip the chaff.
Yeah, so this is necessary just because anytime that you like need to throw a guard, you can't do that whilst you have something equipped in the weapon slot, so you just need to momentarily unequip to be able to do that.
Alright.
Most efficient way to get past the guard.
And basically what you just saw is the first iteration of what we're calling God Mode Exploit. And what that does is it gives you basically infinite iframes. The game doesn't know what to do as you've interrupted the transition into the scope of the PSG-1, so it lets you control Snake while still giving you the iframes of going into the scope. It's really neat.
Yeah. This is one of the glitches that's possible through exploiting the keyboard macros that I mentioned to be able to switch rapidly between weapons.
And what I'm doing now is basically emulating analog, as Trom likes to put it. We didn't get our analog movement on the PC port, all we get is digital, so we have to make do with what we have. You might see me do that a few times.
It's a little disappointing, yeah, like the lack of analog input in that sense. In my opinion, it's like the only thing that really prevents this from being a definitive version of MGS1.
Grab the chaff. Stop. Go. Flip him. And all 4 elevators were bad. That's unfortunate.
Nice RNG.
That's not even the worst bit of RNG. Oh well, now we normally get the Nikita, but we don't need it. We have grenades, it's fine. We'll explain that later when it comes necessary. Alright, so yeah, Mantis is dead. But we can walk through walls.
Mantis is dead, and the textures don't match where the actual solid objects are, so we can just pass straight through the bookcase. Because again, the game thinks that that bookcase is supposed to have been moved. And yeah, we can also do out-of-bounds exploits, because one of the elements of God mode is that you can't interact with loading zones until it's interrupted.
I missed
so we can just go all the way around the level boundary And yeah, this out-of-bounds navigation to get to the next loading zones in particular areas can be annoying, but if in doubt, you can always go into first-person view to see exactly where you are. And yeah, wrapping around like that, you do need to come out in the right place, or you can essentially softlock the game from getting embedded inside a solid object.
Or you could just, if you can still move, you could just go back to the other side of the map and redo it.
So
just depends on where you end up.
In a lot of MGS runs, either watching this game on console or Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, this staircase involves like a lot of combat and a lot of technique, but right here we just don't worry about anything. You just trigger God mode and you just run through everything. God mode trivializes virtually every aspect of combat in this game except for the liquid fight.
All you gotta worry about is moving around corners. And the easiest consistent method is to just hold down left and directly left on your keyboard or on your D-pad if your game will let you do that. It won't let me. But I'm an absolute madman and I use control stick for this. Don't ask me why, it's just more comfortable for me. But corners are the hardest boss in this game.
This is one spot where the actual analog input on integral version would be super helpful.
25. Well, 30 some odd corners later. Here we are. Alright, now this is a spot where the game used to be very infamous for crashing. But we've eliminated that issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, I discovered accidentally one day that if you add processing cores to the game by going into the task manager, the details tab, and selecting your affinity and adding all your cores, you can just prevent the game from crashing entirely. When the game was released, multi-core processing for games just wasn't a thing. All I was trying to do was improve something. I don't know what it was anymore, but...
It's pretty hilarious that that's actually a solution to the problem.
It is what it is.
Like, there's just as many other cases of playing like old PC games where using multi-core processing actually causes performance issues.
I did find that interesting. I didn't know that. Whereas here, it does the reverse. Huh. Don't hit me, please. Alright, we're good. The repel is easily my weakest segment.
Yeah, it can actually be quite threatening on extreme. On other difficulties, like easy especially, you just wouldn't even worry about it, but yeah, you can't really afford to take too many hits there.
I think I barely have enough health for turrets later on. And go back out of bounds, and there's no fall damage in this game.
Yep, they never expected players playing MGS1 to be able to fall to any sort of degree or to get out of bounds, so they just didn't program fall damage into the game. So you can just drop straight down to the bottom of the communications tower, so that's another big chunk of the game skipped out. And now we can even skip the Sniper Wolf 2 fight by rapidly weapon switching like this to get
nice
far enough
prone
into the loading trigger so that the automatic recoil doesn't happen and you just skip the fight entirely.
And that just replaces what would be known on console as weapons glitch, which is a pain to do, depending who you talk to. I know a couple of people that have zero issues doing it. Some have all the issues in the world getting it. But when it comes down to it, it looks like random spontaneous movement. This is just do a quick two-step button input and you're good.
So the weird going back into the blast furnace there is to prevent needing to wait for that elevator to actually come on. Because if the second time you go in, it's already there. And then quickly punch these guys over railings. Nice fight. Very nice fight. Yeah, like those guys can take a lot of gunfire, but they can't really endure being kicked over a railing.
And we're gonna go into God mode to skip past this turret. I really'd rather not risk it. And we didn't need to do that. I don't think it would have shot me. Alright.
Better safe than sorry, though, in a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the fight coming up where it's one of the few boss fights in the game that you can't skip, and this is where you normally would need the Nikita, but picking up the grenades periodically through the run, we can just damage Raven with those, so this essentially skips the need to pick up the Nikita. This is what Glenn was mentioning before.
It saves about 5 seconds or so if you time it correctly.
Yeah, and you just need to be careful not to inflict damage too quickly on Raven, because he actually gets a considerable number of iframes after every hit that you inflict on him.
Depending on where the grenades land, you can miss once. And only once. But something I've improved on over time. Because I used to be terrible at this fight. You can't blink on this run or you might miss something.
Okay, so just one more application of God Mode, and this allows us to ignore the Colonel's advice entirely and just stand right in front of Raven's minigun.
Toss. That is pushing it, but I'm going to do the victory lap. That was a terrible victory lap. I didn't run at all. You just spun in circles.
Still,
awesome frame
fight.
perfect codec. Alright, so now we get to make our way to Metal Gear and get an awesome view of 1998 Rex reshaded.
Yeah, this is virtually the end of the game already. The only thing to do at this point is do the PAL key sequence, destroy Metal Gear Rex, beat up Liquid, escape and all that. So this game is over pretty promptly, but doing the PAL code sequence does take a fair bit of time, and it's also about to lead into the most RNG intensive part of the run, waiting for the rat to appear.
Like you could have a perfect run up to this point and miss a PB or a world record run because of rat. And I'm trying to answer Otacon's codex as quickly as possible, because if you don't, for whatever reason in the PC version, Snake just stops. On console you can keep running and it doesn't affect you.
Reminder that rat is short for Rathu.
Punch punch kick the guard and go up the stairs.
This is a little thing that's exploitable in all versions of this game as well, like on the console versions, where when you rapidly equip and unequip a weapon on a loud surface, it actually overrides the sound of your footsteps so that guards can't hear you.
It's really weird, but very useful, especially if you're the kind of person who might be trigger happy and you're still trying to get Big Boss. Well, you only get 25 kills, and you can't afford to waste very many of them. So like on the guard rush for all bosses, you'd be a bit of a pacifist and just keep punching them and let Meryl kill them, for example. No god rat. It's unfortunate. Ooh, drainage ditch rat. How long is it gonna take? This happened in a practice run earlier.
The key fell in the drainage ditch.
Mm-hmm. Well, this stinks. There he is.
Yeah.
Come here. Come here, little fella.
This happens a lot of the time, unfortunately.
Die.
So yeah, as you can see from the spots that Glenn was targeting there, there's 3 areas that the rat can choose to appear in, and both where he appears and when he chooses to turn up is basically random.
It's just annoying.
If there's a manipulable way to do it, then we are not aware of it.
Sure would be nice. Unlike Twin Snakes, where he's just always in the same spot. So clearly, somebody realized the error that RNG posed. Ooh, too early. That's fine. There we go. Alright. We're gonna switch to the Stinger. We're gonna destroy the camera. It's gonna save us a couple of seconds over the course of all the POW. Most notably from the cold temperature key into the hot temperature key. Trump thinks it saves about 10 seconds. I think it might be a little less than that.
Interesting.
But it is a bit of a time save, and like I said, you need every little bit you can get. Especially in a game this short, a whole second could mean something amazing. Unless it's a pain in the butt. Then I'd probably just ignore it, unless I'm going for the perfect run.
Technically, due to the IGT, a frame could save a whole second, you never know.
Yeah, depending on where your IGT sits, because it doesn't do milliseconds, it just does minutes and seconds. It's all about running in lines. Alright. Okay, so we gotta chill here for about a minute or some.
Oh, that's... No, don't do that.
Oops. But there's really nothing else to do here but grab a couple of stingers and
Yeah,
show off this camera angle.
You need to sit around in these areas for just over a minute to get the PAL key to change.
I already forgot what time it was when I walked in the room.
You must be able to use an audio cue based on the music as well, though, right?
You can, I just don't know it.
Mm.
Oops. I have the memory of a rodent. You'll have to forgive me.
Okay. Clearly, in this sort of situation, though, it's a better play, especially in a marathon setting, to just manually check what the PAL card is at, rather than risk going out of the room, because if you leave the room early, then you need to do it all over again. Like, the game doesn't remember how long you've been in there. Like, it's not a stored value at all.
No.
But that has the benefit as well for making it so that it's not going to change back to warm as long as you hightail it back to the control room as well.
And if you keep changing rooms, I believe the timer resets too if you change whole loading triggers like this. I could be incorrect. Never really bothered to test it because why bother? You're just booking it. Alright, let me put the PAL key back. Just gotta have it equipped too.
Yeah, it's a little irritating that, like, in this game you need the PAL key equipped to interact with the computer consoles, and you actually need the number card equipped to be able to get through doors as well, which is a little dumb. That's something that they very quickly removed in MGS2 onwards.
Mm-hmm. Avoiding a guard here. Oop. Too many button presses. Gotta run with a weapon in your hand. Always faster. Unless that weapon is the Stinger or the PSG-1, then you're not running anywhere. And that is its own problem. Oh well. So I kind of liked it from MGS4 onward that you could just run with snipers and rocket launchers. Yeah, because they didn't do that in 3. I did think about it for like half a second for some reason. Forgive me, I've been awake since 4 a.m. Whoa. almost got shot. We don't want that. Alright, so the second time we come back to this room, there's guards, and it's just run left. And you're good. And when we come back, it's going to be the reverse. So we're going to walk over that nice trail and pool of blood. Hmm? Gotta skip the codec call by going into the trigger state. The elevator is a fixed time limit, so going into the codec is literally a waste of time. There's no reason to do it. If you can avoid it, do it. Alright, so is the camera gonna see us, or do I have to go into God mode again? The one time we want it to see me. Nope, didn't want to see me, that's fine. Ugh.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm allergic to this game. Nah, that can't be it. More importantly, which way will Snake be facing? Oh wait, he doesn't stop. Game wouldn't let me play my guessing game. If you said no direction, you were correct. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna come over here. We're gonna grab some more Stinger missiles. I don't need to throw that, but whatever. It's fine. I don't need those either. Okay. And we get to do nothing. Again, just sit here and wait, because the guards aren't going to see us. We just get to listen to the cool blast furnace music. I think this is probably my favorite track in the actual game. This is the blast furnace.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. If I'm perfectly honest, when I think of MGS1, I actually don't really think of the soundtrack that much.
No, definitely not. I remember the story more than the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It still has very good music. Lots of downtime, so if anyone still wanted to grab some water or something.
The card changing is time-based, yes. It's after you spend a specific amount of time in the area. It's just over a minute per time.
It's about 61 seconds.
That's what I said.
I was being exact!
Mm-hmm. I see Mini wants a zoom.
Zoom. Whee. That's about the closest to analog movement we'll get. Spinning in circles.
I should shoot some crows while you're waiting.
Nah. Crows are my friends. And Raven's gone, so they need a new friend.
Crows hold grudges, so it's probably not a good idea.
That's why you don't be mean to crows.
Mm-hmm. They'll remember your face and they'll harass you years later.
Mm-hmm. You're one of the most intelligent birds on the planet. Although I read somewhere that if you bring them, like, food consistently, they'll bring you shiny things.
Yeah, because
I've been tempted to test that theory.
Yeah, because they have a very good memory. Like I say, if you're an asshole to crows, they'll be an asshole back. But if you're nice to them, they'll treat you pretty good.
We've got a nice set of crows outside my workplace, especially during the fall and winter months. Might be a good testing time for that one.
At the same time, crows are also vermin, so it's probably not a good idea to feed them.
You're not wrong.
Encourage them to nest.
That's why I don't do it at my house. I do it at my workplace. Alrighty. That doesn't count. Alerts only count if they say, "Who's that?" Oops. Master Miller is evil. Who would have guessed?
Liquid Miller? No.
Ah! I had no idea.
God, that actually hurts my eyes. The hue of the screen.
Yeah, it's not very kind. That's better.
Pretty obnoxious.
Indeed.
Yeah, there we go.
That's better. Alrighty. God mode. Tap the W a few times, stand in this magical spot, and this boss fight is beyond boring.
Mm-hmm. This boss is MetalGlennSolid, as you can see. I like this spot too, manipulate the laser, so you just have very, very easy shots on the radar.
Mm-hmm. You never have to move the reticle.
Now,
That's radical.
I can finally die.
I thought you told me not to make puns.
Ha ha, funny jokes.
Look what I can do thanks to hotkeys.
It's no good. I can't do it.
And can't do it. In a world of light. It's no good. Soon, I can't do it. Soon it will finally end.
Alrighty.
And then round 2 against Rexington is pretty similar, except you just shoot liquid right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a really bad speedrun to show to someone who has the mentality like, oh, glitches are just cheating. Like, this is about as close as you can get to just cheating your way through the game.
Alright, so we're gonna do the
Use a
infinite
literal
liquid.
god mode glitch.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna focus here, so we're gonna do the infinite liquid. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw him twice, get him into the corner, and just punch him to death before kicking him off Metal Gear.
I'm gonna just shut up for a minute.
You fall. At this height, it will kill even you.
Other than Docs, this has been a decent run.
Have at you, Snake.
And that's the liquid fight.
Very nice fight. And Python please.
I don't have Twitch open.
He said, at this height, it will kill even this run.
No keys. I got him. Let's go.
And yeah, that infinite combo on liquid is actually very precise, so doing the whole fight without dropping it once is very impressive.
If you want to learn it, there's a metronome available on speedrun.com in the resources. It's actually a really catchy tune. I could listen to it for hours. It is!
Thank you, Roy. I worked quite hard on that fight.
Use a visual cue for that barrel.
Good job, Snake. Let's go.
If you place it just right, as soon as Otacon turns, you'll be facing the barrel in question. Oof. I'm gonna kill you first.
Yeah, like strangely enough, this is the very end of the run, which is virtually an auto-scroller, and it's the part of the run that most closely resembles actual gameplay.
It is weird, isn't it? I mean, it's not entirely an auto-scroller, this part.
Yeah, fighting Liquid here definitely does require some technique, because you can get him to like swerve around and duck a lot if you just continually open fire on him. Like, you need to basically just shoot when necessary if you want to have the easiest time against him. And yeah, he can still be a threat because, yeah, life is a legitimate concern here.
Oof, he got me again. There is an invisible health bar to determine when the transitioning here takes place, so it isn't entirely an auto-scroller. Sometimes it feels like one, though. But if you were to do nothing and let Liquid just shoot at you, you would go on forever. I guess that works.
So yeah, life is getting pretty low, but the last couple of phases are fairly elementary because there's a specific spot you can just hold in and you should be able to just keep hitting him without him being able to counter-attack.
You mean this spot?
Exactly. Of course.
Let's be real here. I wish I could take bullets like Liquid does.
Mm-hmm. You mean you get shot and you just flash for a few seconds?
Yeah. And then when I'm done doing it, I die of a heart attack. Because, you know, plot.
Close ending of life, though. That is pretty much the run. But time is on the results screen, which we're able to get to very quickly here due to skipping all cutscenes and stuff.
And that's time. 42:31 with all the continues.
Yeah, like, considering the docks, that is a very good time, yeah. Congrats, dude.
Thank you. I thought that felt pretty good, other than the docks. That is MGS1 on PC. If you blinked, I'm sorry.
Indeed. And thank you for inviting me along to help out with this. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. Thanks, the admins, for having me. Hopefully the rest of the marathon goes swimmingly.